that you have to make it is the infrastructure, quality infrastructure in which the country has to take investment. So that you do not continue to have very highly variable range of efficiency. Other day, Eric and I went to Srinagar, we were going to Amreli. We went to stop by in a workshop. That person makes a particular car of 0.1 micron surface precision. Very high quality. Very high quality. In a small backyard, nobody would know that in Srinagar, in a small town, is not where there is a small cluster, we would have achieved the precision of that kind. Think from elements, that other factors. Now there are many people, therefore, who may have private facilities of testing and calibration. Surely, their case must be there, having ways of measuring it. How do we make such calibration facilities? How do we incentivize for such private entrepreneurs to make their facilities available to the other innovators at cost, at subsidized cost, freely to some students and other innovators, so that they can get feedback on their quality of their work full time without. I can tell you that when we try to test some animal-based products, vegetable-based products, the report we get from the university is the same as big companies. When CMTI Gurni was to test a tractor developed by a farmer, they would charge the same cost as they would charge to Ford or Massey Ferguson or any other company. There is no differential pricing during testing and calibration for people who are startups, who are innovators, who are individuals, or the informers, versus those who are for big companies. There is no policy of that. I think we should push that issue. Another area where we have a lot of problems in the innovation system today in the country is that how do you create awareness? A lot of you said, I have a pollution. Somebody said, but I didn't know about it. Why did you contact me? So many doctors said, this is something interesting. We didn't know about it, but maybe we can create capacity for that. Public media today gives no time and space for such events. And if they think that we can compete with Pepsi and Coca-Cola to buy the time on public media to be able to show our it is absurd. It is absurd. It never happened. So the result is, even if people want to help an innovator, they don't know where to help. I'm not assuming that there are not people who want to help. I'm thinking there are a lot of people who want to help. But those people who want to help do not know the people who need to help. And this is a very great asymmetry in this society. This is a very great inefficiency in this society. We must lobby for having some time on the portals for on the public channels for showing off or showcasing the technology. I will conclude by mentioning two more issues, so that you don't have to have the last session. One about the PIC and one about the idea. PIC is the concept of prior informed consent. We normally circulate ideas, which are not done by my colleague, I will get it done tomorrow. The idea is that all of us sign up to say that whatever information they are getting is confidential. And we will not reveal it without the permission of the person who knows it. Trust formalized so that nobody has any hesitation in sharing. However, PIC has not often been applied to the informal sector. People go report from all the people, the villages, slums, wherever, and do not get a PIC form. And they find the recorded all the people. With the result that they get short-changed, they get exploited, they get robbed of their intellectual property. So we must pay attention to the PIC, prior informed consent, and particularly when it is informal sector, so that people in the informal sector will have trust that these people who come from these places are trustworthy. We should share the plan because they will not exploit us. They will reciprocate when they develop the technology. This is something which is very much lacking in the corporate sector all over the world, but also in India. There is no guideline of University Grants Commission or AICTE which obliges a public sector scientist or a scholar or a PhD student to acknowledge and share the findings of their work with the people from whom they collect data. There is no requirement. But I am sure that in due course, when we talk about knowledge economy and innovation economy, something will become necessary and we will all work together. On the IPR, child participants on the stage will share what about that we have done in IPR in the field of analyzing patents, analyzing patterns of what kind of data are developed by the people. I'll only say that a model that we recently developed, which is adapted from Creative Commons and from open source free software movement, which is like technology commons. The idea being that at the village level, people-to-people cooperation should be encouraged. People-to-people communication should be encouraged. People-to-people sharing of innovation should be encouraged. Village level, societal level, individual level. In other words, if I am going to use your innovation for my livelihood, for my own survival, please don't use patent law to restrict that. But if a firm wants to use it for commercial reason, it must be obliged to take a license. So among the people, no restriction. People to fund, restriction. This is simple model. And no one person with technology commons can license this. This came out in last meeting when we had a meeting of innovators about the particular technology. And they said no one of them should be able to license it to the company. All of us together, or through our agency, or through our association, should be able to license it so that we decide it comes collectively. Because we have pooled our knowledge in this license, ultimately commons. So I think we have to develop very many new models of dealing with IT. We should not think that the model that the Western society has developed over the years is the only model, the only viable way in which we can go forward. For our societal needs, we need different models. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, I would like to answer and we will serve our anything that you want to know about what we're trying to do and how that makes it all so interesting and exciting for us and possible for us. Right?
You are saying that IPR policy should be for the countries like Asian, African and developing countries. It's very much different from the European or American or other countries. Their laws and rules cannot encourage people, especially from the unorganized sector.
We have development models. There are many other things that we need to do. A registry system, a whole registry that I'm talking about, which we should develop. But I only want to point out that we should not get persuaded that there is only one way in which knowledge is. There are many ways. There are many ways.
Innovations can bring more economic development, more employability, more standard of life. You can see a number of inventions in a country versus its proportionate to international comparison. I think in India, we have to encourage the younger societies, right from schools, in coming out with innovations. But the current style of teaching is mugging up and vomit. So, right from school level, I think we have to.
Why school level? The parents have to get a sense of innovation. They insist that children accept. I always say the tyranny of compliance, congruence, and conformity. These three properties that you think a good person, a good child should have, are the greatest enemy of the society. And it happens with that. Right? School is not better. Right? From the young age, we start telling children, keep quiet, it's not what